morning, guys. How you doing out there today? Well, it's all over. The festival is over. Crop over is over. And that 4-day morning jam, I heard it was really off the hook. And matter of fact, myself and Cupid were talking later on, maybe next year, they'll lengthen the hours so that people, John Doe on the street, can enjoy himself. Today we want to talk about heart healthy. Now you ate all the stuff, you drink all the beer. Remember, alcohol in itself got a lot of carbohydrates, and carbohydrates is broken down to simple sugar, and simple sugar is absorbed by the blood, and a lot of sugar, that boost of sugar, can cause a lot of problems, can worsen your diabetes, and as a matter of fact increase the amount of fat deposits in your body. So don't think in drinking alcohol would not cause you to put on weight. Well, let's talk over some of the things while Cupid is getting the music together. Don't forget 424-1771, 424-1790, 424-1791. You can call us. You got any questions related to the heart? Definitely be happy to entertain it today, but let me give you some tips as you start off to get off some of those sponges you would have put on and so forth over the last few weeks because of a lot of eating and drinking. Stop smoking, that's the first thing. I know you guys don't smoke out there, but if there's one thing you can do, one single thing you can do to stop you from getting heart attacks and heart disease is stop smoking. So I would, even as a matter of fact, the Surgeon General has determined that in the U.S. that passive smoking, staying close to someone who smokes, can increase your risk at least 3 to 4 times of having heart disease. So if your partner smokes, just tell him, walk outside for a little bit and keep the smoke away from the children. Yeah, so lively up, my dear. Saturday at 9 o'clock. No, it's 9:03 here in the morning, and Saturday morning, and you, whatever you're doing, just you're washing those dishes, and you're in the garden, or you're wherever you are, put a radio up and listen as we bring to you living, and how you can live, how you can keep your heart, which is your major organ, actually. The heart stops, everything else stops. You can live without one kidney, you know that? You can live without your, and a piece of your pancreas, actually, man. All of your pancreas, you can live without that. You can live without your spleen. A part of your stomach, you can take that, even take the whole stomach out, and you can live. One lung, all of those things. You take the heart out, and it's time to relocate. So keep your heart healthy so you can push blood to those various organs that are dependent on the heart to sustain their lives and their tissue. So stop smoking. How about cut down on your salt? Number 2. You want to cut down on your salt, and salt in itself increases your blood pressure, and blood pressure in itself is a high risk for heart disease. Eat more things. Try to stay away from the canned stuff. Vegetables that are canned, the pizzas and stuff like that. Stay away from that. Some of the cereals got a lot of salt in it too, so be careful. Cut back on your salt, decrease your risk of heart disease by decreasing your blood pressure. And what's your diet? Those saturated fats, the fast foods and stuff. You want to stay away from that, the cooked and fried foods. And if you can use oil, make sure you use canola is relatively cheap. It's a good oil, and olive oil is much more expensive, but either or would be good. But try to steam and broil your food and so forth. Starchy foods and stuff. Try to stay with whole grain and pasta. Brown rice is good for you. And vegetables and fruits, you want to snack in the daytime or even at night. You snack on, things like apples, and keep some of those in the refrigerator. Stay away from the cakes and the biscuits and the pastries and the dairy products and so forth. They have high saturated fats. Remember, the fats you want to use really is monounsaturated or polyunsaturated fats. Those are good for you. Saturated fats and trans fat seen and fried foods and so forth, you want to stay away from. The liver takes them and send these low density lipoprotein to your arteries, clog them up, and if you don't get a heart attack, you get a stroke, or you can get blocked arteries in your lower extremities, thereby I should say, causing you to lose limbs and so forth. So the whole vascular network is associated like that. If you get a clogged artery, as a matter of fact, if your arteries are blocked in your heart, you have a 33.5% chance of having blockages in your arteries to your brain, the carotid, or the ones to your legs, like the iliac and the femoral and so forth. So, and if you have blocked arteries in your leg or poor circulation, you got a 55% chance of having blocked arteries around your heart. So you see the correlation. The whole vasculature is the same etiology and the nidus for the formation of these plaques, and it has to do with increased risk factors. 434-1771, 434-1790, 434-1791. You can call us, and if you have any questions about the heart, I'd be happy to entertain them. Monitor your alcohol. That's number 4. So we talked about first smoking, then we went down to cut back on your salt, then we said, what's your diet? Decrease your amount of saturated fats seen in margarine and all, and cheese and all of that type of stuff. You want to stay away from that. And whole milk, you want to use skim milk or 0.5% or 50% milk or so, instead of the whole milk. I know human beings are one of the few animals that drink milk to adult age, and most of the lower animals, they, after a year or so, or even earlier, at 3 months, they stop drinking milk and eat. You wonder why? I don't think that whole milk, too much of it is good for you. Just go for the skim milk. After a while, you get tolerate it. So monitor your alcohol. Alcohol itself can damage your blood, your muscle, your cardiac muscle or the myocardium, and get weak hearts. But also binge drinking and so forth can increase your risk of heart attack because it has poor blood pressure, if I may correct myself. Freudian slip. Control. So monitor your alcohol use, okay?
You keep saying, so is there a quantum in respect of what you should do weekly or monthly?
Well, no, because there's an idiosyncrasy in the whole thing. In other words, some people can tolerate because they have this alcohol dehydrogenase, which is the enzyme responsible for, I should say, breaking down the alcohol. Some people have higher levels than some, so some people can tolerate alcohol more than some. However, so what might be good for John may not be good. So 1 or 2 drinks of red wine a day is good. But even if you're going to drink, don't drink it. The binge drinking is the one that gets you, because it accumulates in the bloodstream, and it can be toxic to the muscle. I must say that alcohol can clean the arteries, of course, but at the same time it can damage your muscle, and you don't want to go to the doctor with a big, enlarged heart. We got a call? Okay, good. So,
I'm asking you to go over the numbers again.
Active. Get very active. Exercise is good for you. Why you think every time you turn the TV on, people are there just exercising? There's a reason for it. Heart healthy. Put your heart through some stress. You work the heart out just like you work out an exercise and try to keep your body in shape and have a nice shape. How about the heart? It needs that 30 minutes or so of exercise at least 3 times a week. You can do walking, I don't care. Brisk walking, brisk swim. Not just walking, just brisk walking, swimming. Anything that would increase your heart rate. Skipping, jumping, swimming, I don't care. Climbing the stairs, walking up the hill. Something extra. Oh, yes, Doc, I go to work all day.
But 3 times a week, but how long?
30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Mm-hmm. It's recommended. 3 times a week. If you can do 5, fine.
So suppose I put in my hour and a half in one day.
No, it's a repetitive thing. It's a repetitive thing. Studies have been done and shows that people who live longer are people who would have heart rate variability. In other words, if you don't exercise, your heart rate stays around the same way. Or even you find that those people die quickly. As opposed to when you have, like in the daytime, your heart rate is up, and at night it goes down, up and down. That is why stress kills you. If you're stressing, your heart rate is up all the time, you die early. So it's the same thing with exercise. Exercise increases your heart rate, pushes the heart, and the heart rate goes up, and then you rest and it comes down. That up and down pendulum and trough and so forth, peak and trough for the day seems to be associated with long living. So I don't like the 7 days a week, because most people who exercise 7 days a week actually, normally drop off the bandwagon. You need to rest the body sometimes. So do I say 3 to 5 days of 30 minutes?
When you say the bandwagon, explain.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people who would exercise aggressively and every day they're burning the body out. After a while, they get tired, they get fatigued, they get tired of, they're frustrated with the whole thing, and they just give up. But exercise should be used as, I would say, a lifestyle. In other words, tell yourself, listen, just as I eat to keep this body healthy, just as I try to decrease my stress levels by relaxing, it's the same way exercise should be a part of your daily living. You get up, look at your body, enjoy your body. As I was telling one of my colleagues yesterday, says you should enjoy your body. Look at it, see what needs to be changed. And if you have to run to help your legs out, fine. If you have to do push-ups or whatever you got to do, you've monitor yourself. It's yours. You got to like it more than anybody else. So my point is that yes, you can get exercise, do the 30 minutes, 3 to 5 times a week, and rest 2 days. Let the body rest, and then start again the next week. You missed today? Fine. Then do it tomorrow. And that's how I'll go about 30 minutes, 3 times a week, or 3 to 5 times a week. That's exercise, and it does good. As a matter of fact, some endorphin are released from your brain when you exercise, and that endorphin itself makes you feel happy, gives you a sense of euphoria. So people who exercise a lot feel good about themselves, increases your self-esteem, and so forth. Manage your weight. That's number 6. So let me go over the first one. We said smoking, then second, cut down your salt. Then thirdly, we said watch your diet. Monitor your alcohol. Number 4. Number 5, you make sure you write these things down. Get active and exercise 20 minutes, 30 minutes actually, 3 times a week to 5 times a week. Manage your weight. Try to keep your weight down. Know what your weight bracket should be. There's a scale out there for weights. And I should say at this point that you should know what your weight for your height should be. There, you look at the computer, they'll tell you, and there are formulas to calculate it. So try to keep at least your waistline. Try to keep that stomach down. Stay away from a lot of white bread. Eat a whole wheat bread if you have to. I like Weetabix, and I encourage you that Weetabix cereal is good. You take 2 or 3 of them, put them some milk in the morning. You may think it doesn't taste good, but it does. And use all that fiber. Good for you. Transit time in the GI tract decreases considerably. A lot of fats are not reabsorbed, so it's a good way to go. But even if you have to go for the bread, try to use a whole wheat bran bread, so that would decrease the high bolus of sugar release. But your weight, if you have an increased abdominal fat, it increases your incidence of diabetes. And if you look at most people who would have had or who has or have diabetes, type 2 of course, they're very obese, or they have problems with their waistline and stomach. You cut down on that, you're surprised to see you may not need to be on diabetic pills and so forth. So be careful what you eat. Watch your sugar. Watch your weight. The exercise and what you put in. A man is determined by what he eats. So what would you put in that body that was given to you? All right, so remember, that was number 6. And number 7, Cupid will come in with something there for me to give me a break so that I can come back on you. And I'll come back with 7, 8, 9, and 10. This is Bob Marley. Rat Race, and I'll be right back. Yeah, so that was Rat Race. As a matter of fact, 434-1771, 434-1790, 434-1791. Those are numbers you need to call. If you got any heart issues or so forth, you can call us. And we're talking about management of your heart and having a healthy heart. One was stop smoking. Second was cutting down on your salt. The third was watch your weight. We talked about monitoring your alcohol intake. The binge drinking and so forth is not what you want to do. I mean, the American Heart has recommended 1 or 2 drinks of red wine every day, and you can do that. But it's binge drinking, always trying to take a little sip and you're feeding, or or when you're feeling down and out, not good for you. Get active. 30 minutes of exercise 3 times a week, 3 to 5 times a week, we've just said, would be good for you. And then manage your weight. Remember, it's not the fat that is accumulated in your feet or your shoulders or or your buttocks that is associated with heart disease. It's really the fat that is around the waistline. So that's what studies have shown. So try to keep your stomach small. And I was saying yesterday, I spoke to one of my colleagues and I was saying, listen, you keep your waist small, everything falls into place. And trust me, the clothes will fit, everything will do well, and also it'll keep your heart extremely healthy. And get your blood pressure and cholesterol levels checked. Always check that every year. Check the blood pressure, check the cholesterol. Cholesterol is a nidus for block. As a matter of fact, it's public enemy. Yeah, I should say right now, that interruption is that we have a problem with the phone lines. They're not, for some reason, it's not on. Don't know why, but there's some technical difficulty. So you may be trying to get in now, and but keep trying anyway. They're working it right now to see if they can get the phones on so you could express your heart concerns. But I'll keep going. So if you check your cholesterol and your blood pressure, at least on a yearly basis, everybody should have, when you're age 30, 40 or so forth, it's good to, especially if you've got a family history of blood pressure problems, odds are that you'll have it too. So, you should have one of these manometers out there. Go to one of the pharmacies and get something called Omron. I like Omron, the Omron. Omron is good because what Omron does, it's accurate. I've checked it many times in my office. An Omron manometer, which measures the blood pressure at home, it's automatic, but it seems to be relatively accurate. Get one of those in there, so even if you don't have to check your blood pressure, you can check the pressure of mommy or daddy or grandma, to keep your pressure controlled. And remember what normal is, 120/80. So you want to keep it somewhere around there. 130/80, acceptable. Once it go to 140/90, anything over that, it's high. We want to bring that down. Yeah, cut it back on your salt, because we colored folks are extremely sensitive to salt. So if you cut back on your salt, you'll find that that might be the first step in bringing your blood pressure under control. If that does not do it, then you have to consult your GP. And seeing a dietitian is always very, very helpful. Contact your GP, and they can give you appropriate medicines for your pressure. Don't forget, males, when you go to get your blood pressure checked, ask your doctor for drugs that would not cause erectile dysfunction. There's some nice ones, I spoke about it last week, on the market and the week before, called the receptor blockers. Things like Diavan and Mycardis and Atacan. Those drugs are very, very harmless to the male organs, but at the same time, it's able to help the heart and also decrease the blood pressure considerably. Also, it causes regression of left ventricular hypertrophy. So if you would have had pressure problems causing your heart to be thick, these are drugs that you want to do to bring it back to normal size. So check your pressure. Cholesterol levels should be less than 5.2 millimoles per deciliter, or at least less than 100. 60. Some people say 102. As a matter of fact, it should be less than 100, and 100 or 120. We like those numbers, low numbers for the cholesterol. If you do using milligrams per deciliter, if your cholesterol is much higher than that, then you need to consult your doctor. So ways to get that on the same diet first, and if it doesn't come down, you would want to probably use some nice drugs they call statins. Stress levels. Everybody's stressed out in this world. And there's one stress, and most of your stress are normally attributed to some other person. Most times you're not. The world in itself is a beautiful place to live. People are stressful. So you have to learn to deal with people. And if your stress levels are up, find ways of getting your stress down. Don't turn to alcohol and smoking and all of those things that would cause you to get heart disease. Stress plus heart disease, not good. You're set up for a real big one, a massive heart attack. And I should tell you in the meantime that our levels here, we have one heart attack every day in this country, and one stroke every day. Where are these people? You know, and I got a problem with that, because the general average, 1/3 of these people, when they have heart attacks, they would die before getting to the hospital. 1/3. But here in this country, 60%. How could we have such a wonderful, almost a first world country, and so many people are dying from heart attacks? You need to come quickly to get care, all right? And it's something that concerns me. We need to really intervene very, very early, get the ambulance there, and get the therapy. There are thrombolytics we can use, and there's angioplasty, primary angioplasty, we should do. And I don't understand, even at this day, where we are trying to increase our, people stay our revenue, and to keep the money spent in this country. We shouldn't be sending people out of this country to do procedures that are done here. So we have, this country is one of the mecca for the Caribbean reference to healthcare. So we should try to keep our patients here and take care of them here, because we have great neurologists, we have great nephrologists, we have great pulmonologists, we have all of these specialties here that can take care of our own. So we should try to stop sending these people out and keep them, take care. Of course, if we can offer certain type of services outside, but really we should try to keep, because the country needs our help at this point. So learn to manage your stress. Okay, find a way to do it. Sit down, relax, read the word, prayer, and so forth. Try to, decrease your stress. Exercise is very, very good. Very, very, I talked about endorphin before. It does help to make you feel better and bring down your stress levels. Because stress is associated not only with heart disease and stroke, but is associated with cancer, and all of those stress causes everything. So please, work on that one. Very important. Check your family history. As I said before, if your family is around you dying of heart attacks and stroke, the likelihood is increased 10 times for you to die of the same thing. So if you got a family history of people dying suddenly, or having heart surgery, or having angina, where you have pain in your chest where you exercise, and then when you rest, it goes away, that's a sign of heart attack, or a sign of your impending heart attack coming up. So you want to make sure you check that out, get the doctor to refer you to the appropriate person, cardiologist, so they can intervene and stop you from getting the big one. So check your family history, whether it's cancer, whether it's heart disease, whether it's stroke, and try to keep yourself, watch your diet, and modify your lifestyle so that you can live longer. The idea is live and listen. This is all we know. You're born, you came into this world. This is what you know. Of course, we have hope and faith of the word to come. And I want you to emphasize on your faith and rely on your faith, because faith in God is important, extremely important in life. As a matter of fact, hey, that's a part of my life. God first, everything else after. But while you're here for a reason, because think about how many people, how many of those sperms that were released on inceptions, out of the 40 million sperms, you won. So you came here for a reason. So know your reason. Contribute to this world in whatever small area you're involved in. If you're a carpenter, be the best carpenter. As the guy from Charles Wright says in Express Yourself, he says, whatever you do it good. No matter what you do, just do it good. So, yes, so check your family history and make sure that what it is, and then try to prevent yourself from going down. Break the cycle. Break the cycle. All right, so, and make sure you recognize the early signs of heart attacks or heart problems. If you walk a block and you find, again, I said before I finish up this sentence, I should say to you that we're having a technical problem in the studio today, and I apologize on behalf of Starcom for this. For some reason, the calls are not coming in, and I know you may have had some heart calls that you want to talk about heart and know about no one heard that the doc will be able to help you through, but we'll do that next week. Next week, all of you guys that had your questions and so forth, next week at this time, 9 o'clock from 9 to 9:30, I want you to call in and express your views, express your concerns, and so forth, and we'll continue. But for the next 4 weeks, we'll talk about heart smart, heart healthy, how we can keep the nation healthy, how we can keep this generation living longer. Generation X is after us. The baby boomers are still here, 60s in their 60s. We want to keep them. We want to get a lot of octogenarians here, and we want to get some centenarians here also, more, increase them. One must say that I'm very sorry that James left, but he's gone to a good place. I wanted James to be the oldest man in the world, man. You know, I saw him, I interviewed him about a year and a half ago. James, don't worry, brother. I'll see you again someday. You're in a very, very nice place right now. And I thank you for holding the fort for 113, almost 14, right? Yes. We want more of you like that. And my duty here is to teach you. Call your friend, call your brother, your sister, call them. Don't matter where they are in the world. You can go on the internet and tune in 9 o'clock every Saturday morning, and they want to live healthy and live long. Check into the doc. I got the tips for you because I plan to go a long time. When the Grim Reaper comes my way, I'm going to tell him not today. So we're talking about tightness, and you're walking and you have a little bit of tightness in your chest, heaviness. And then when you stop, it goes away. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a sign that you may have blocked arteries around your heart. If you eat some food and you're eating, you have to get a lot of blood going to your stomach. And that blood goes to your stomach, it will cause more work on the heart. If you check when you're eating, put your fingers in your pulse, you'll see your heart rate going up. Yes, you need more blood to go to the stomach to get that food digested and be brought to the bloodstream. So, if you're having chest pains when you eat and you stop eating goes away, that's a sign of blocked arteries in the angina. Walking, pains in your neck, pains in your stomach, pains in your back, pains in your arm, and goes away when you're at rest. Check your doctor out. Let's find that blockage before it's too late. And I close by saying today, we've been doing angioplasty here for the past so many years, 12 years in this country. There's no reason somebody may be able to call me and tell me why we're still sending patients out to have angioplasty done when the University of West Indies has done, as a matter of fact, has published a paper saying how much successful, 0.1% rate of mortality for angioplasty in this country. They shouldn't. Let's just use our own feet, clothes, and house ourselves. We love you. We care for you. And I will see you next week when I come back. God bless you again. I apologize on behalf of SACOM for their phone lines today. And I'll see you next week. Bye now.